So this new paradigm of leadership is really about understanding that there's a transition going on.
所以这个新的领导者的典范是真正关于就是如何去理解在发生的这个变化。
I know how my industry works today.
我知道今天我所在的行业是如何运作的。
I can understand its impact on ecosystems and nature.
我能清楚地理解我所在的这个行业对生态系统的影响是什么。
I can understand its impact on society and people.
理解这个行业对社会、对人类有什么样子的影响。
I can understand its worldview.
我能理解这个以一个宏大的世界观来看这个问题。
What is its role in this future vision?
那么我也想要问是这个未来的世界是什么样子的一个远景呢
？How do I tip the landscape of change?
我如何把这个改变的这个地形地貌来做一个变化
？So that the old flows effortlessly into the new.
使得我们能够从旧的典范过渡到新的世界。
In the old world, we asked what can be achieved with the resources I have available.
所以在旧的世界里面，我们问我们的问题是说，我们如何用有限的资源去达成最大的事情
A scarcity position.
是一个认为这个资源有限的一个立场。
In the new world, we are unlimited.
在新的世界当中，资源是无限的。
And we ask, what is my greatest possible contribution to the transition?
那么我们要问的问题是说，我能够做的对世界最大的贡献是什么
And let the future shape the resources.
让未来来决定所需要的资源。
Start with the resources and say, what can I do with them?
你可以有不同的方式，你可以开始说我们有多少资源做多少事。
Or you can start with the mandate and say, how can I achieve it?
但是你也可以由结果来看，告诉大家说我们要如何去达成。
And if you can't achieve it, then the next question is who needs to be in the room?
那么如果你可以做到，那么你下一个问题就会是说，那么是谁需要来共同参与？
So that's another aspect of this creating a pull into the future by just asking the question, what does it take?
所以大家看到我用方式是从旧世界要过渡到新王国的时候，它的只是问问题的方式不一样。我们问是说要如何能够达成。
So that's a picture of a third word. First one was danceable.
所以这是第三个字，第一个字是跳舞一样哈，第二个字是 acupuncture 针灸。
And the third one?
第三个字是 collaboration
meshwork.
第三个字是这个 meshwork。
So this is a word we made up, but it's a meme that you know. You could say that we're on a threshold.
所以我们在一个瓶颈的地方。
There's a tension. There's a tension because we need a new way of being together.
因为我们现在的外在的条件给我们一个压力，我们需要一个新的方式来生活。
How can we harvest the full potential of the wisdom of the space in between us?
所以，如果我们要如何能够掌握在这个空间，刚才我们前面提到的我们彼此之间的这个空间，然后能够让最好的事情来发生。
What if somehow we could become optimally organized to fulfill our common purpose of creating a new civilization? This song explained to me yesterday the Chinese character for wisdom, and half of it is knowledge and communication, and the other half is the harvest of the heart. In fact, two characters of the harvest of the heart.
对，昨天郭老师跟我介绍一下这个中文的智慧这两个字是怎么样的。它是两个东西的组成，一方面是知，一方面是心。
So I'm interested. How can we harvest our collective heart? How can we harvest the wisdom between us?
所以我在这个地方非常想要知道，我们如何能够把我们所有人的心念合在一起，然后来有收获。
So that might sound a little spiritual in orientation.
这个听起来有点好像很精神层面的。
So here was a description that I made up for what we call a meshwork.
所以这个地方是我对这个 meshwork 这个字的说明。
To use with our government clients.
给我的这个政府的客户。
A network we connect for each of us for our own purpose.
这个地方是另外一个字眼，就是我们有一个网络，我们相互连接。
In communities of practice, we connect in communities around creating shared knowledge.
那么在社群里面，我们是一起共同去创造我们共同的这个共享的知识。
But then we combine that shared knowledge into a DNA of the future.
把这个共同的知识变成未来的 DNA。
And that DNA is cast to the wind and can be implemented anywhere.
那这个 DNA 会随风飘向世界各处，能够在所有的地方都落实。
This is a life form created out of collaboration.
这个是一个这样子合作的一种这个图像的一个说明。
And May showed us the wheel with the 4 quadrants and then the outer areas in those quadrants.
早上给我们看的这个生态村的建设的4个这个模块。
That's a good example of a community that's becoming highly functional, highly collaborative, beginning to distinguish a common language, common principles, a common framework to share its knowledge.
那个是一个很好的例子来说明这些大家在一个社群当中，他们有共同的愿景、共同的做法、共同的制度、共同的语言。
This picture comes from the Gaiasoft Institute in their research on social change movements.
他说一下，这个图是来自一个组织。
This is an example of a meshwork event, meshing together people and functions across places.
这个是一个网状，刚才讲的这个 meshwork 网状组织的一个例子。
To find out more about practically applying this kind of thinking of meshworks and measuring a greater part of what an organization can be, kind of measuring from here.
如果各位想要知道这个刚才提到这个 meshwork 是怎么样做的，或者是说在这个以目标为导向来反推回去的做法上面的这些研究。
You'd find on the web a paper called Complexity, Performance Management and Global Corporate Citizenship.
如果你输入3个关键字，就是 complexity 复杂性，还有绩效衡量。What's the word?
Complexity, Performance Management and Global Corporate Citizenship.
第3个是那个全球公民合作，把这3个字输进去就可以找到刚才说的那个论文。
Some pictures. This is a dear friend in India called Mahir Bhatt.
这是我在印度的朋友 Mahir Bhatt
pulled together a network of networks in disaster mitigation.
他组织了一个网络，这个是做这个灾害的预防的。
And we're developing a meshwork, a structured collaboration across silos and sectors to fulfill a shared purpose, so that you can find the people doing common things in different places.
所以这个他们也组成了一个做这样子的一个 meshwork， 是跨行业、跨部门的一种
And you can find the common knowledge in those places.
在这些地方，我们可以找到大家共享的知识。
So if we applied this to eco-villages, who are all the people doing waste management across all of the different eco-villages? How can we find all of those people?
假设我们想要找到在全世界所有的生态村里面负责做废弃物处理的这些人的名单。
And how can we find all of the knowledge related to, in this case, it's people moving their houses up the beach to avoid future tsunamis, but how can we find all of the specific knowledge related to a particular topic?
也就是说，我们想要有一个主题，比方说如何让海边的人搬迁以预防海啸。那么这样子，我们可以在这个网络上面去找到所有的相关的。
So that those best practices, those grassroots solutions can be reused.
所以这些的从草根里面大家所形成的共享的知识呢，可以重复的被使用在不同。
At COP15, while the discussions were going on, the official discussions, we had an area a third the size of a gymnasium.
这个是哥本哈根的这个照片儿。那么讲到的是如何共享知识。
Where we created a meshwork space.
也是一样形成一个这种 meshwork 的网络。
To begin to connect the thousands of people who are building the new civilization.
把成千上万的人在共同这个建造未来的新的文明的人连接在一起。
Because from here alone, I don't make any sense.
因为在旧世界里面，我们单独一个人是没有用的。
But as part of a pattern, I make sense.
但是如果我成为一个典范其中的一个部分的时候，那么就有用了。
We would typically use in designing a meshwork, a framework like this, we would develop this through a collaborative process.
那么我们通常会通过一个协作的方式来形成这样子的一个meshwork 的网络。
What is the heartful shared purpose?
首先，最中心的就是大家所共享的这个目的是什么？
If we can have a framework for creating this new civilization together,
我们作为人类，我们最终难免彼此。但是如果我们能够为新文明能够共同创造一个模式，
then we can each find ourselves and make sense.
那么我们就会发现我们的存在是有用的。
If we have a framework, then we can rate ourselves against that framework. We can transform democracy. We can say, here is our vision of the future. How does our village, our town, our city, our country look in this framing of the future? So here's somebody from India rating India against about 100 conditions for reducing of CO2.
所以，如果我们这个新的典范能够从这个未来到底是应该什么样子开始往回推的话，那么我们就可以完成。所以刚才的图是一个印度的人在用这个100多个的条件去检查印度如何降低它的这个二氧化碳排放。
So May said it had to be fun. That was where the word danceable came in.
所以这个妹早上说到，所有的事情必须要有趣才能值得一做，这也是为什么我发明了这个值得跳舞的这个字。
We don't have unlimited energy. That's why we must be acupunctural.
那么，因为我们的能量的确是需要用在最合适的地方，所以用针灸的这个比喻是很关键的，放在最关键的地方。
And I don't make any sense from here.
所以，如果从在旧的地方，我是不成立的，没有道理的。
Which is why I stand here. We stand here together and we create the future. And then we manage and we govern and we collaborate within that framework where we all make sense.
那么我们在新的世界里头出发，来观察、来看这个事情，然后开始去着手做，这样可以把一些旧的东西逐渐的过渡过来。我们通过这个 meshwork 可以这个网络可以来合作
Coming together,
能够在一起
seeing the pattern,
看到这个模式，
playing my part.
What?
Playing my part.
然后负担我自己的本分。